I forgot to start filming before I started working. Hey, came down to the garden today and we're going to get some work done. Bubba's even going to come work with me. I just wanted to show you the sunflowers are finally blooming. Aren't they gorgeous? That one looks like it's going to be a dark orange one, that one in the front. Those are super tall, super tall. You can see how big they are, and it looks like they're going to have multiple blossoms on each one. The ground cherry's been putting on like mad too, and they're ripe and hitting the ground. Today's projects in the garden, it actually, boy, I got myself on magnify here, don't I? Today, there we go. We are gonna start clearing more of the garden. As you can see, I've already taken out the purple Russian tomatoes that were here in the front row. And today we're gonna take out the rest of the tomatoes. They are not actively blooming anymore, and they're just taking up time and attention that I don't have to spend right now. So we're going to pick every tomato on the vine, be it green or blush or in whatever condition it is, and I'm going to can them up. You know, I like green tomatoes. They're very good. And yesterday I took down the lima beans. These purple pole beans, though, they're still blooming. They're still putting on beans. I pick a handful every day, and I'm still canning. My shelf is filling up, and I'm so excited. Who knows? Next year, all 5 of these rows might be purple potted pole beans. I like them so much. Unless I can find some other pole beans to try. So all these tomatoes over here are coming down very shortly. Bubba's going to come out and help me. I'm really excited about that. He has been phenomenal in this year's gardening. I mean, basically, he built it, and I plant, grow, and process. He helps harvest. He helps water, sometimes. But without him taking care of so many other chores, I couldn't get this done. I just couldn't do it. So I'm leaving the beans for now, because they are still producing, and they do still have a few blossoms on, so, you know, one thing at a time. Today it's tomatoes. The loofahs are staying, obviously, because they haven't put on one gourd yet, but I'm still praying. The birdhouse gourds will only come down when the stems leading to them go brown. I'm still waiting, you know, who knows whether these will actually put on any fruit this year or not. I see a ladybug on my unknown Mexican tomato. Oh, wait! Mexican peppers. I see one. I see one. I see one. I see one. That's the very first one. Who knows what it is? Don't know. Don't know. Don't care. Isn't that a cute little ladybug? Here. It's probably not focusing. If I do this, it would focus better. From a distance, I imagine. And whoa. It flew away when I was zooming in. That's all right. We have more blossoms on these unknown Mexican peppers. And the rest of the peppers are going to give them a good look at today. Quite possible the serranos and poblanos might be done. You know, I've got a lot of them in the freezer. And if they're not covered in blossoms, you know, this weekend I really need to get caught up with everything that's been taking my time outside, because in talking to the Lord and listening to the Lord, I understand that I need to be spending more time and more focus outside the home. More focus on His people and less on His creation. So, this is our job today. I'm going to take a break and get started at it, and I'll let you know how it goes. I just want to show you, I see one thing here I wanted to illustrate. When you cut off a stem and let it sit for a couple of days, it shows you just how much these plants, how they wick the water up. This one sucked up so much water after I cut it off that it coated the entire outside of the stalk and got thick. I mean, the rest of them don't look quite like, yeah, here's another one. They all have, you know, collection of stuff on the top. But these seem to get thick and funky. These are the lima bean stems. The tomatoes, when I cut them off, you know, it was water. Water, water, water at the top of the stalk. You know, they were still trying to feed what used to be there. Yeah, theirs is getting yellow and funky too. These have been down longer. It kind of gelled. The water that sat on the top kind of gelled in the sun. Isn't that odd? But that, oh, I can't see my screen. There we are. But that just shows, you know, because each rain gutter, when these were filling up with tomatoes, they would drink 3 to 4 gallons a day, each gutter. And as you can see, I dropped a few carrot seeds in the buckets before I even took down the tomatoes. So, you know, if they grow and fill out, then they do. And if they don't, I'm not out anything. Yeah, we got a few carrots coming. That'll be cute. I like carrots. Next year I'll probably get serious about a fall garden, you know, putting in root plants around everything so that it grows when the spring garden is done. But for this fall, maybe we'll have a few carrots. All right, I need to get busy now. I've got my wagon going. This has turned out to be a really cool thing. I love my garden wagon. I use it to water and everything. When I water, I put tubs and then I put the empty jugs, the vinegar jugs. I fill them with water and wheel it around to water the garden, so I'm not walking and walking and walking. And today I've got my harvest baskets on one end, and then when we take down the plants, we'll throw them in the other end of the wagon, and we'll do the harvest and taking down the plants all at the same time. And the plants go into the composter. You would be amazed how quickly that composter, you know, in the summer heat and with a lot of moisture that it gets from the house compost, how quickly it breaks stuff down. All these, you know, tomato plants from here and down at the other end, I threw 100% of them in there. And then I threw all of the lima bean vines in there and all the compost from the house. And it has settled down already and is still only less than half full. That's amazing to me. The miracle of God's creation. All right, I'm going to shut up now. Actually get something done. See you soon. Yeah, looks like we had a few cherry tomatoes still on the vine. I only saw a couple blossoms though, and you know what? These will can up just as well as any other tomato. I mean, we have eaten gallons, literally gallons of cherry tomatoes, and the only thing we've done with the cherries and the pear tomatoes is eat them fresh off the vine, and they are delicious. But, you know, it's that time. It's time to clean it up and start focusing on other things. Still have beans coming, still have peppers coming, but it's time to say bye-bye to the tomatoes. Some gardeners, when they start cleaning out, oh, they get, you know, down and, oh man. And, you know, for me, it's like, hey, you know what? This is awesome. It's kind of like the changing of the seasons. When I lived in California and Texas and those places where, yes, you do get a changing of the seasons, but it's never as dramatic. It doesn't seem as dramatic because you don't get the snow and the ice. And anyhow, I think it feels good because I have a lot of food in my pantry from this garden. I started these plants in March, you know, so I've been working at this for a good long time, and I'm ready to change focus a little bit. So as you can see, I got rid of the tomato plants. I even got rid of one of the birdhouse gourds that was done. And Yes. The lima beans are gone. We have a bunch of carrots growing in these buckets here. And then, I don't know whether I'll do it yet today. Maybe. Because it's a gorgeous day. And I need to get as much done out here as I can before Monday. But, you know, it's time to pare down, finish processing, and be so thankful for the garden that God gave me this year. I mean, wow, you know what? This entire thing, all the food that's on our pantry shelves and in the freezer were seeds in March. You know, every single thing came from little packs of seeds that I purchased. And, you know, the Lord gave us the wherewithal to do this and the energy to do this and the passion to grow plants and food. And, you know, we have passions for other things. So the fact that as the seasons change, I can change my focus to other passions, it's not a negative thing. It's a very positive thing. Because, you know, when I was praying this morning, the Lord reminded me that as Pastor Brian preached on Sunday, you know, you're really not glorifying God and doing all that He expects of you. You're not following Him. That was the topic of the sermon. Follow me. Because we're reading through Matthew. Anyway, bunny trail. The idea is that you need to be touching His people. And part of the way that I intend to touch His people, I try through YouTube to touch as many as I can. And I try through some of the things that I've done through our church to touch as many. But the one thing that I'm doing, and I'm able to actually get started on the process Monday, is I'm going to run for city council. And I think we all need to be reminded that serving on a city council or in any capacity like that is public service. It's not a position of authority. It's not a place to pursue a personal agenda. It is public service. It's a way that you can help touch everyone in your community in a positive and constructive way. Wow. I'm campaigning. It's absolutely ridiculous, but I'm following what the Lord asked. I'm going to shut up and quit rambling now and show you the fact that my tomatoes are gone, but I've got carrots coming in those buckets. And we're just going to keep on. Motivate on to the next project. Thank y'all so much for joining me. Not to be outdone by every other plant in the yard, my apple tree saw fit to give me a bucket full of apples this year. You know, this is probably 4 times the apples that it gave me last year. Easily. This is the first time I've had enough harvest from this apple tree, you know, to actually probably make some pies. And how awesome is that? Praise the Lord. He's just been blessing me this year beyond measure. All right, I think our prayers are being answered on this loofah gourd thing. I know it's an endless topic. But I just want to show you that, oh, yep, there go the bees. Fresh blooms, and on the stem underneath the blooms, it appears there are starts. There's even this thing right beneath it, that to me, those don't look like leaves. Those look like maybe they're the start of gourds. Okay, and then everywhere I look, there is new growth. The way it looked in the springtime. You know, new leaves and vines sending out tendrils. I mean, like that. That's what it looked like in the springtime. Where else? Right here in the middle. Where is it? Sunshine. New leaves sending out tendrils. Down here at the end, new leaves sending out tendrils. And down here as well. New vines, new leaves, sending out tendrils. And you know, over there too. And the funny thing, everything is covered in ants. Just like it was since the very beginning of their growth. When they were just plants in the bucket, they were covered in ants. And every step along the way, especially the new growth, obviously. The old stuff, you don't see that many. Obviously, they're walking over it to get to the new. But all the new growth is covered in ants. So, I'm guessing. I may have to look it up later if somebody wants to look it up or remind me that I think ants are to loofah gourds a symbiotic relationship like they are with peonies. I wonder if I sit here and watch it for a second, if we'll see one of these bees, because they've just been flying around like crazy. Lots of bees, different kinds. There we go. Oh, it just fluttered over it. I didn't see it land, but it's definitely fluttering over that pretty yellow flower from the loofah gourd. Little moths, little butterflies. Yes, nature is beautiful, and I am just enjoying it today. Oh, may God bless you and fill your heart with joy as He has mine. Not to be outdone, while I'm out here cleaning out the garden, we got another, easily 10-pound bag of hot peppers. There are lemon spice jalapeno, serrano, poblano, regular jalapeno. Yeah, baby. 10 pounds. I've got a bunch in the freezer. I've put a bunch with tomatoes, and I have some more tomatoes to can. And I think it's time to start dehydrating some. So those lighter green ones are the lemon spice. And I'm going to try them dehydrated. Oh my goodness, this garden has been amazing. And my final harvest for today is cleaning off the bell pepper plants. Some of them are small, and that's okay. I'm just cleaning off the plants. Take everything down to square one. The bell pepper plants are actually in full bloom again. So there'll be more. But hey, if it's a mouthful, I picked it. We're going to chop them and throw them in the freezer. Awesome. A friend just came over to help us with a new sump system for the yard. So I'm going to say adios for now. So while I know that this is not the most becoming look on me, the amount of gardening I needed to do today required that I keep the sweat out of my eyes and the sun off my face, as much as I love the tan that it's given me this year. Today is the day that we really get serious about paring down the garden. And so today it was time to take down the tomato plants, pick everything that was still on the plant. It was time to clean off all the pepper plants. And they're blossoming again, so I'm just going to let them keep on keeping on. You know, Bubba came out and helped me water. He watered peppers and beans and gourds. And I even picked the apples off the tree today. So let me give you a little glimpse of what we've accomplished outside so far. And now I got to figure out what to do with it inside. This tub, oh, how deep is it? Yeah, you know, it's that deep. That's every tomato that was still on a plant. Not very many of them have much color. A few of them do. But I'm going to can them all. I don't intend to freeze them or anything. The red ones, you know, Bubba will probably just eat. These have been here ripening. Those weren't from today, but these in the tub were. Our little apple tree, our little bitty apple tree, that's like 4 years old, gave us a full bucket of apples this year. My dad always says that almonds grow on a tree, but after you harvest them, they're almonds. Because the method of harvest is you grab hold of the tree and you shake the L out of it. So these are apis. They're no longer apples because I grabbed a hold of the tree and I shook the L out of it. Bell peppers. Doesn't matter what size they are. I cleaned off the plants. If it was bite size or bigger, because I'm just going to dice them and put them in the freezer. I've got a bunch already. I'm going to have a bunch more. And they're blossoming again, so I'm leaving them. And that's probably a 5-pound bag, I'm guessing. This is hot peppers, all hot peppers. I cleaned off the plants. Like I say, anything that's enough to put heat on my tongue, I picked it. And we'll see if they bloom again and fill again. If not, I've got about 12 pounds more hot peppers. And I think, as well as putting some in with tomatoes, which I love, spicy, dicey tomatoes, and chopping some for the freezer, maybe just canning some by themselves with a little salt, just so that we've got some, you know, light green salsa verde without the tomatoes. I'm going to try dehydrating a bunch, because I dehydrate the habaneros anyway, you know, the orange ones. And I'm going to try dehydrating a bunch of these lemon spice jalapenos and, you know, put them together with my seasonings and see what kind of flavors we can come up with. So, yeah, wow. I not only took down all the tomato plants after picking every tomato that was on the vine, I harvested an entire apple tree, every bell pepper, every hot pepper, and holy hot poppers, folks. I'm tired. I'll be putting more video on to go with this, but I hope you're having a glorious day. One of these days, I'm going to get this pantry filled up, but I just wanted to give you a real quick update on what it looks like now. On the bottom shelf, I just have some squash that I got from last fall. All the pint jars in the middle there are pressure canned green tomatoes with just a little bit of salt. And there's some cabbage and a little, I think it was chard. Here are the beans from my garden that I've canned so far this year, and I know I'll have more to can here pretty soon. That's going really well. Loving that. These are the pinto beans that I can. I need to get another batch going on those. I've got plenty. I make them in chili style, baked bean style, just plain. You know, hey, that's what I could do with some of those jalapenos. I put them in with pinto beans too. This shelf is basically jellies and pickles. Lots of jellies over here. Oh man, orange rhubarb, my absolute favorite. Even got some pickled beans there from last year yet. But as you can see, I've got enough cowboy candy to keep me candified for a while. I really need to get canning chicken. Those are a couple of jars that I did bone in once, and not excited about that. I've only got 4 pints of beef left. Need to get after that too. Here's my one and only remaining jar of the first attempt at canning peppers, and I think it's going to be a real go. Potatoes. We've got some here. You use some more always. Oh, spicy, dicey tomatoes that I got in on yesterday. I put 3 fresh, good-sized jalapenos with seeds in every single jar. Because the first time I tried it, putting peppers in with tomatoes and pressure canning them, you know, it was just kind of tangy, but there wasn't any real heat to it. So we're going to kick it up a notch. Anyhow, as you can see, I need to can more meat. I've only got 4 jars of beef and a couple of chicken, and I don't have any pork on the shelf, and yeah, we gotta fill this up. Got plenty of pickles and jellies, and I'm doing okay on my green beans and my pinto beans. I'm doing all right on my tomatoes, you know, because I've got green tomatoes down there, and I've got a bucket full left to can, and I've got a whole bunch of tomatoes yet in the freezer that I'll pull out and can and put peppers with. But I just wanted to show you what I've been doing with all that stuff coming in from my garden. Get a good look at the beans here, and maybe we can use that as a thumbnail. Thank y'all for joining me.